Welcome to episode 1. I'm Loomis God, and this is episode 1 of a new thing I'm going to be doing. It's called Horror Fest. I'm a big horror fan. I've been a big fan since I was about 7 years old and saw the first Friday the 13th. Had nightmares all the first week, but I loved it. I'm going to be doing a lot of horror things and then some sci-fi, but this will be my horror love of the slasher movies, gore movies, and everything. No, I'm not psycho. Well, some people would state I am psycho, but no, I'm not. And I want to talk about my first episode of reaction review, or whatever you want to call it. I want to talk about Hammer movies and Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee just died a few years ago. He was my vampire. He was Dracula to me. I fell in love with him through a movie company in Britain called Hammer Films. They did films and a TV series from the 50s until about the 80s, early 80s, about 79, 80, I think was the last one. And then they relaunched with the star of Harry Potter, and they did 2 movies. I haven't seen nothing from them since then. But let's talk about Christopher Lee. Most of you probably know him as Count Dooku on Star Wars. In fact, George Lucas got a lot of his actors from British movies, especially the Hammer movies. And I'm going to be reviewing or talking about these 4 movies right here. And Horror Dracula. Dracula has risen from the grave, and Taste the Blood of Dracula, which I watched again today because it's Halloween Eve, and I always watch a lot of these Hammer movies during that time. So this is a 4 set here that you can buy. I don't know if it's still available. I bet you can go online and find all these movies. Anything is found online today. But Christopher Lee was great for me. Again, my Dracula. Now let's talk about the movies. Horror of a Dracula is a great one. The filming is great. I would say is probably the second best of the Dracula movies that he did. But Dracula Has Risen from the Grave is probably the best one, and I really recommend you to go out and find these Dracula movies. The least one I like was Dracula AD 1972. It's set in 1972, still got quality. The filming's great. The spookiness is great. And the way they do blood in Hammer movies is it's like real red. It doesn't really look like blood, but it gives you the hint of spookiness, of supernaturalness. I really recommend you check out Christopher Lee in these Dracula movies right here. And I don't really give a rating for these movies because they're what I consider textbook. This is textbook stuff. What Christopher Lee did for Dracula is textbook. So you don't rate genius. And what Hammer Films did for a lot of horror, the filming and how it's done, it's all textbook. So I don't give a ring. But check them out. Hammer Films, Dracula's, the Christopher Lees. Watch them. Watch them especially tomorrow. Go find them. Watch them tomorrow on Halloween. So, from Loomis Scott to you all out there, happy Halloween, and I got more to follow. Have a good one.